think we're going to get an inch of snow on the ground that's measurable? Jim and Mo Tanner are going to measure it in their backyard. They're going to make the decision. But what date? Your family gets one shot, your family, your household, whatever you want to do, one chance to pick a date that you think the inch of snowfall is going to come to Conneaut. If you win, you get a great big Christmas wreath, a candy snowman candy dish. You get coupons, gift cards from Heath Marketplace totaling $35 of their great food. And you get a free oil change certificate from State Street Auto, the Mr. Tim McCartney there on Orange Street. Great gifts, and all you have to do is guess the right date for snow. And again, if the snow falls on a certain date where there's no name on the calendar, we just pick the closest person and they become the winner. So somebody's going to win, and I have a feeling it's going to be before the month of November's over, but what do I know? Who knows? Let's do a couple more announcements, then we're going to take a quick break. Coming up later this month, actually 3 weeks from this, no, 4 weeks, 3 weeks from this Thursday. Man, 3 weeks from this Thursday is Thanksgiving Day. Can you believe that? The 28th, last Thursday of the month. That reminds me that the big Thanksgiving dinner for our community is being put on at Corpus Christi Parish Center. Renee Roach and company and all of her great volunteers put together a great meal for folks on Thanksgiving Day. All those volunteers pretty much give up their Thanksgiving week and Thanksgiving Day in preparation for this event. You eat in on Thanksgiving Day at the center from 1 to 3. If you're homebound and need a meal delivered, they do that in the morning on Thanksgiving Day. Just call 593-5273, use extension 308, and let Renee know you're going to be part of that meal. Good morning, welcome to our show today.
Hello, Anita Burns.
Hi Anita Burns, how are you?
I'm going to say the 17th of November.
You're going to go with Sunday, 17th for our snow contest?
Yeah.
All right, I've got you down on that date. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back. Oh, I got another caller. Well, hello there. Welcome to our show. Didn't see you there.
Good morning, this is Matt.
Matt Crawford, what's the word Monday morning?
I just wanted to take a shot at the snowball.
Oh, what do you got? What do you think it's going to happen?
The first Sunday after Thanksgiving.
All right, let me look at that. That means December 8th. Yeah, that's December 8th, brother, I think. Yeah, because 30 days, half November. 30th is on a Saturday, so the first, second Sunday or first Sunday?
First Sunday.
That is the first. I'm sorry, you're going for the first, Matt.
Okay, sounds good.
I've got you down on December the 1st for the snowfall contest. You're good to go.
Very good. Never believe the first snowball because they're snows before honey.
There you go, buddy.
All right.
Take care.
See you later.
Bye-bye. All right, let's take a quick break. Oh, I got another caller. Well, hello there. Welcome to the show.
Morning, Tim. Would you put Shirley Ward down for November 14th?
And you're the only one on there so far. That's a Thursday. Shirley Ward, your name is now on the calendar. You're official.
Thank you, and you have a good day.
Thanks, Shirley. All right, did I see another call coming? I think we're good. Let's take our break. Kathy Altman is coming in, Adult Services Coordinator at your wonderful Conneaut Library. Nope, I got another call, Kathy. Hang in there. Hello there. Welcome to the show.
Yes, could you put me down for November 23rd?
Who is this?
This is Joanne Campbell.
Joanne Campbell, your name is going on my list for the 23rd right now. You're on.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Well, we got a bunch of calls all of a sudden right now. Let me just check, make sure the light's not going to blink real quick. I don't know. Maybe that was it. We got about 5 calls there in a 2-minute span. Okay, we'll break. Kathy Altman's coming in from your library in just a few minutes.
dedicated to keeping you,
your family, and our community healthy. Get to know your neighbor at goodneighborpharmacy.com.
See the pharmacists at Gertis Pharmacy in downtown Conneaut, your prescription specialists since 1960.
This is important news for members of the military who served anytime from 2002 and after and now have hearing loss or suffer from ringing in their ears, also known as tinnitus. Your hearing problems could be linked to defective earplugs sold to the military by a defense contractor who knew the earplugs were defective when they sold them. Now, thousands of active duty military and veterans have hearing loss or tinnitus. If you or a loved one were issued these dual-ended combat earplugs and now have hearing loss or ringing in the ears, you may be eligible for a cash award and medical expenses from the earplug manufacturer. If you or a loved one were issued the dual-ended combat earplugs while serving in the military anytime from 2002 and after, and now have hearing loss or ringing in the ears, call the law offices of Davis & Crump right now to see if you're eligible for a cash award and medical expenses. Our first consultation is free, and we don't get paid unless you get paid. Call Davis & Crump right now. Operators are standing by.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. If your employer doesn't supply health care coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private health care is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. To get the coverage you need, call the number on the screen now.
Hello there, welcome back. Good morning. We were just talking about seasonal allergies and coughing and sneezing and stuff. Some of you probably suffer with that. This time of year, it's funny. You're thinking, well, it probably isn't the grasses and the flowers and the whatever,
The
but those
leaves.
pressure changes.
Right.
I guess, I mean, as I'm getting older, I'm noticing I have more nasal head issue that I didn't used to have.
Right.
I'm guessing it's age and allergy type stuff. It knocks you down, doesn't it?
It does.
Because you're trying, I don't want to sneeze or drip, and I don't want to be stuffy pressure head.
Right.
Whatever you take gives you one or the other too much.
Right.
So you try. So
You just muddle
Thank you for
through.
muddling through.
Sure.
Kathy's
Do the best
suffering a
you
little bit
can.
today and this
Yeah.
morning. But welcome, Kathy Altman,
Hi, guys.
our Adult Services Coordinator here at your Conneaut Library. Always a pleasure to visit with you.
Hey.
We usually get you right up in the beginning of a
Right.
month to show what's going on throughout the month with things that you do. I'll tell you what we'll do first off. If you'd like to jump in
Okay.
to our snowfall, I know what you told me off air, our snowfall contest, what we're looking at is the Tanners right by Ron's Market there on
Right.
Main. They live in that big old house. They're the measuring people because they gave up all the prizes.
Right.
So they're going to measure the first inch of snow on the ground in Conneaut, and whatever date they tell me is official.
Yeah.
Now this is what I say, because in Conneaut, one guy can have 6 in his driveway and nothing over here. So
Right.
their yard is the measuring
It's
stick.
right. It's
But when do you think we may get that first inch of snow for official on the ground, and you have to be at least the
I
11th or ahead of time?
I know. The
What do you want to
11th or the ahead of
Because I
time.
can do a week of today or further.
Let's do the 15th.
That is, you're the only one on there. It's a Friday.
All right.
I'll put you down, and if you win all these fabulous prizes, I will let you know.
But I'm pretty sure it's gonna rain Thursday because I delivered a homebound on Thursday. So
You're thinking you'll get
last-
weather of some kind.
Yeah, last Thursday it was raining. This
Yeah, was
Thursday
that
I
the
think
big
it's
rainy
gonna-
day?
Yeah.
How'd you get through all that? Wasn't it windy? Was it windy too?
Yeah, it was a pretty
Oh, my
horrible day.
goodness.
Blustery day, like Winnie the Pooh would
And then
say.
you got to get in and out of the car a lot. But you know what? They love to see
It's
you.
all right. It's
And I
all
do
good.
love to remind folks that you do deliver those books, what, twice a month?
every
week. I
Thursday.
keep thinking it's every other
I
week.
know, we switched up when I went full-time
You
in
go to a few of the
January,
homes
so-
and you go to a few different housing complexes.
Right, so.
And I just want to remind you folks, if you're kind of homebound and, you'd love to get to
Especially in
the
the winter.
library, but you can't, they will help make arrangements for you to get some great reading material, and this is the nice lady that delivers it to you. So do they just call the library to check
Yep.
on, hey, I'd like to get some books delivered?
And then,
And then remind new people, maybe there's a newbie that hasn't ordered with you before.
Mm-hmm.
Do they you bring 6 or 7 selections and they just pick it, or do they tell you on the phone what they'd like to read? How does this work?
it goes either way. Some people know exactly what they want. When I
Oh.
come to the house to deliver, they have a list of what they
And
want.
then you know what books to
Right.
get.
And then other people,
Okay.
because I've been delivering for so long, I sort of
Probably
know
read through-
I know what they like, and so
And you pick a few.
And I try to bring several so that they can have a choice.
Okay.
Just like when you go to the library, you get to look at a lot of different shows.
Mostly books, or do you take anything else to them?
It's books, magazines,
Even magazines.
sometimes
okay.
music on music CDs.
But it's mostly reading
Right.
materials?
Yeah, I haven't done movies or anything.
How much do you, boxes, what do you take all this in every time?
I have
Crates?
those little wheelie carts.
Okay.
Yeah, so I usually have
'Cause you're
2 of
delivering, how
those.
many stops do you make on those Thursdays?
Well, I make about 8 stops, but one is at the Villa.
Okay,
and one's
right.
at Lake Point,
Okay.
the Conneaut Manor, and
Yeah.
each of them has 6 or 7
So
people.
you're wheeling around all
So
over
yeah,
there.
so those are.
That is such a cool, I just want to
highlight.
remind you folks what a great thing that library
is
does
really
for you.
nice.
Because sometimes you can't get out.
Right,
And
and
so
you
it's
like
nice
to
to have
read.
materials.
Right.
Thank you for doing that.
Sure.
And this Thursday is your every Thursday is now
Right.
your delivery week.
So when it's snowing on Thursday.
593-1608, if you need some books or materials in your home. What about someone, could be older, but usually can get to library, maybe had surgery and's laid up a little while.
They can do it too.
Can they do it too?
Yeah, and there's some that just do it during when the weather's
Winter
really
time.
awful
Okay, that
and they
makes
don't want to
sense.
get out
But
and
poor Kathy gets out there.
risk slipping and falling.
Please
Yeah.
have your shovels in, your driveway shoveled for her, but anyway.
That's nice.
Have you, I'll ask you
Put my
something,
big boots.
you can be honest, have you ever couldn't get somewhere with the weather on a day you were trying to deliver? Has it ever been that bad?
Well, it's
You know, it
been
could
bad,
happen.
but I have an all-wheel drive vehicle, and
Okay.
I will. This is funny now, but I'm sure it wasn't at the time. But Molly was delivering for me. I was gone on vacation, so she was delivering, and she got stuck in somebody's driveway.
Trying to get the books to them, oh my word. In like a snow
Right,
stuff or
right.
something, oh my word.
She just had just a regular
Well, you
little
can
car.
imagine
and
that could happen some point in
Oh,
Pontiac.
sure,
I mean,
right.
come on.
So,
But you try
I locked
like,
my car keys out, or I locked my keys in the car
You
a couple
did.
weeks ago. So I had to
Who
call and
you-
get
who got
somebody
you?
to come. Well, it was a convoluted kind of thing, but
So you
I
like get in
finally
your
got
car?
a hold of somebody that could come and get me in my car.
isn't that difficult anymore?
Yeah.
It used to be in the old days. I remember when I was younger, they'd slip the thing in there
Right,
top of your life. You
right.
can't do that anymore.
Yeah, so I had to find my husband, track
Well,
him
good
down.
for you.
So all kinds of weird stuff happens.
But she's
Right.
your great, she's like the mailman. Rain,
Yeah.
snow, sleet, or hail.
I'll be there.
She'll deliver your books, not the mail. Well,
Right.
thanks, Kathy. All right, I noticed over here, now give me a couple of these to hold.
All right, I'll give
You've got some knitted hats, and I'll hold a few for you.
This is really cute too.
I mean,
But
these
we
are
got
all
one-
homemade, I guess.
Yeah.
What is this little stack all about? What are these?
The Flying Needles group, Tuesdays at 1.
And that's every Tuesday?
Every Tuesday at 1 o'clock.
Okay.
And we're getting ready to start on our quilts, but in the meanwhile,
Look at this.
we're making hats and scarves, and I didn't grab any scarves.
And
but,
you've got more than you brought today already made, don't
yeah,
you?
we probably have 30 made.
And who are these all for?
Claudia Phil, who's on our board.
Okay.
She has children that are in Lakeshore Primary,
Okay.
and she asked if we could make some hats and gloves and scarves for them. So that's what we're doing, and then they'll go to the school and.
And when they go
get
there,
on-
is it something the kids take as they need it, or how do they get
I'm not
them?
sure. I think it's a little more organized than that. I think maybe the teachers help
No,
get them to
okay.
the kids who really need them, and.
But these are all homemade
Right,
from
they're
your
homemade,
group.
and-
Look at that. Let me see. That's a nice one. That's brown.
I know.
They're all sorts of colors.
I know. I just finished an Ohio State one and a Browns
Now you've
colored
done one of these too.
Yes, I've been making them too.
Is a knit cap hard to do?
Well, we do them on the loom.
Okay.
On those circle looms.
Okay.
So, you know, if you're sitting there watching TV.
Oh, then you kinda just-
I was watching the Browns play yesterday, so.
You didn't
I
waste your
was
time.
glad to have my attention divided between.
Have you made a Browns cap? I
I did, I am working on that in an Ohio State hat
But
right
the
now.
poor kid's gonna give it back to you.
Well,
I'm just kidding.
You have to be a diehard Browns fan to root for the Browns.
You made an Ohio State one, you said, plus all these pretty
Right.
colors.
And so there's some for boys, some for girls, and then once they get it, there's it's theirs to keep.
Very
So,
cool. How's your
and,
Flying Needle group doing?
It's a wonderful little group, and we have people. There's a lady who comes, Diana Greer. She comes and she
Excuse me.
embroiders when
Oh,
she sits
okay.
and embroiders. So she's going to offer an embroidery class in November.
Oh, that would be, are
And
you
that's really
talking
nice.
about that a little bit today?
Yeah, let me start though with
Go
this.
wherever you wanna go.
Tonight, this is my side. November starts us in Ireland and ends in Hogwarts.
Oh my goodness.
So we're having our Ireland show tonight, presented by Darlene Ziegler, who works at the library.
You know what?
Went to Ireland last.
You get to see it first at the library. I've got her on the show later on
Yeah. So
next week.
Oh, so she'll talk about
A little bit, her trip, and
her
see,
trip
she
and
won't see things
Okay,
here
so
like she will there.
She's not here today, so I'm standing in for her, inviting you all.
What time is your thing today?
It's at 5:30. So
Okay.
today, the 4th at 5:30.
Ireland's so pretty.
Yeah, I know.
Is that where you
I
just
went-
went?
yeah, I
Isn't
went
it
last year.
beautiful?
It is really
the
beautiful.
pictures I always see, I don't know, I've never seen a bad picture.
Right, and she was up like more in the northeastern part. We
Okay.
were down in the southwestern part, so we
Okay.
were in totally different kinds of places. And I gave her all my pictures to look at, and I was looking at her pictures,
Yeah.
and you know, you're right.
Were they
Up
just
there where
different
she's
places?
at is beautiful, and down where we were at is just beautiful.
Now, she'll have
so-
like a multimedia presentation,
It's
like up on the
yes.
screen too, and all
Yes.
pictures and all that?
Yeah, and there'll be refreshments.
So 5 o'clock, do we need to
5:30.
sign for that or just show
No,
up?
just show up. We asked people, we said it would be appreciative if you signed up, just so we make sure we have enough
Oh.
seats out and enough food.
5:30 today?
Yes.
And what is the Hogwarts part
And
of
then
that?
we're closing out on November 22nd. That's at 5:30. We're doing a
Oh.
Harry Potter trivia contest.
Well, there's some people that know. Is
And
Amanda
you
allowed
do-
in this thing?
She's in it.
Well,
Amanda-
she's gonna win it then.
I don't, you have to sign up.
Yeah.
You can sign up in a team. Some
Oh, it's a
people are-
team thing maybe?
Yeah, most people are signing up in teams.
And
of
that's
2 or
a
3.
Friday night. What time do you do that?
That's at 5:30.
And you
So-
gotta sign up to be in that.
Sign
Is there
up
a
to be in
cost
that.
or anything?
No
Okay,
cost, and
that's
there'll be
cool.
prizes awarded to the winners,
People will
so.
love that.
It is, I've been wanting to do this for a long time, and I finally, just.
So is this for 18 and up, or was
It
this,
is
who
for
should do
18
this?
and up, unless you talk to me directly.
This is more of an adult show, though.
Right, I
You
know
do a lot
there's-
of kids things.
Yeah, there's a lot of, teenagers who know, so we sit on the fence, we have to listen to your plea. If you're 11
But
or
it's
12.
meant for 18 and up
right.
is kind of the deal.
We may
Okay.
bend the rules a little bit.
So sign up for that the 22nd,
Right.
but tonight is that Ireland tour, and you want to check that out, so
It-
5:30.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I want me to keep those?
If you've never been to Ireland and wish that you could get there,
Would
then this
you,
is the-
from your recommendation, I think you'd say, people, if
Oh,
you
it's
have a
cool.
chance to go, go.
go? Yes.
A lot of people have Irish roots too around this area
Right.
anyway.
Right.
So,
So
very nice.
very nice.
And
place
she's
to-
from your library
so-
anyway.
And she is.
You know her from the
my
front.
library family, so that's
right.
really nice. When we met for Brown Baggers Book Chat in October, we were supposed to read They're There.
I
but
remember that title.
we still have people in our group that haven't gotten the book yet.
Haven't even gotten it.
And it's so funny because this book came out, I think, in 2018.
Just not enough
But
copies?
there are quite a few copies in the system, but everybody's reading it right now. I don't
So
know
did
why.
you
all of
wait
a
another
sudden
month kind of
So
a
we're
thing?
gonna do this in November. So
When is that coming up
and
then?
that's the fourth Tuesday of the month.
Tuesday, that would be the 26th,
Yes.
right before Thanksgiving week.
Yes.
And what time is that one?
And that's at noon. That's where you
Oh,
bring
the
your
Brown
lunch
Bagger, you
and,
bring your lunch.
and eat your lunch
So
there.
there is still on the docket.
And we're still gonna try to
All
read
right,
it.
let me ask you this. Did you fake it with something else last
What
month,
we
or
did
what'd you
was
do?
we came up with our selections for next year.
I got you.
So we
How are they looking? Good?
Oh yeah, they're all, we sort of have to be unanimous in choosing and
Okay.
picking. So there's things
Like
that
a
the
majority
group,
vote
the
kind of
current
thing?
group likes, and there's all kinds of everybody likes a different kind of genre or a different
That's true.
type of book. So there's a little bit of everything in there. So
Who can come to this brown
anyone can
bagger?
come,
Who do you
anyone can
invite
come
out?
to any of our book clubs. So when, at the beginning of the year, we have all the selections picked for the year, so you can come in and say, oh, I really like that March book,
Maybe
I'd
that
like to get
particular
into
month.
that. And so,
12 noon, last third Tuesday
Right.
of a month.
right. And then we have the Second Friday Book Club, which meets this Friday.
Yeah, that would be
Or
this
is
week
it-
already.
Is it this week?
It is already.
Right, so
What are
it's
you
this
doing on
week.
that one, do you know?
They're doing line by line, and I don't really
Line by
know
line.
what that's about. It
Don't
came
know
and
that
went so
one.
fast. And it's funny, because we're closed that day, we're doing an in-service day on the 8th, so, but we're allowing the book club
What time
and
do
the
they normally
friends.
meet?
The friends comes in at 9:45, and then
You're
the,
gonna let them do it?
yeah.
Friends and then the book club?
Yeah,
And
we're
then
gonna
that's it
stop.
though?
Yeah.
Regular customers won't be coming in?
Right, so
You have
it's
an
our,
in-service day
it's
this
our
week.
staff in-service day on
I
Friday.
gotcha. And
Right,
then are you closed Monday
we're
because of
closed.
Veterans Day?
Yes.
So I'm
But
gonna
we're
ask,
open Saturday.
we always wanna know these things, like our kids are off school for in-service day with teachers once in a while. What do you librarians, besides, we know you party a little bit, what do you do on an in-service day? What are you trying to usually do on those days? Do you learn new
We
things?
learn new things, and we go over things.
Or
that-
procedures or
right.
fun stuff or
It's
what?
Probably like the last 6 months, Kathy and Cindy have
Yeah.
been out and about, paying attention to what we're doing, seeing how
Yeah.
things are being done, if any of it needs tweaked. And then they ask us to also give some scenarios that we see that
Like, are you
maybe
talking about
should be
what's
fixed.
working, maybe
And
not
what's
working
not.
so well?
So it's a good,
Okay.
it's a good reminder day. I don't know. I take, we have to take CEUs all year.
Oh,
And
right.
every time I take a CEU, I'm like, oh, I know all this stuff. And then I listen and go, oh, I
You learn
didn't
something
know.
new.
Yeah. and
Continuing
I'm
education.
glad
Well, I mean, I know,
so-
I'm glad you guys do this, but everybody always wonders, what are they doing on those
Right.
meetings? Like there's some secret
Right.
party going on.
And I think Kingsville is doing theirs that day.
Oh, are they?
And I'm not sure, probably Harbor is.
So get into
too,
this
so-
week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and
Right.
then Saturday
And
you're open up
Saturday you
again.
can come back,
But
yeah.
Friday's off limits unless you're in the Friends or
Or
the book club.
the Second Friday. Book
Okay,
Club. So
very
we're
cool.
gonna let them in. We're making
Let
jewelry.
them in.
Uh,
Oh, when are you doing this
We're
again?
gonna do, earrings.
I see
It's
that.
on this Thursday, actually, at
Yes, it
5:30.
is.
It's a nighttime group.
Who does this? Is this you?
I'm gonna do that because we made jewelry, we made earrings last year. I figured we'll make them this year. You can wear them for things through the holidays.
Oh, sure.
Through,
Now, do you have the beads or do they bring things?
No, I have all the,
You have
everything
everything.
is there, so you just show
Does it
up. and-
cost or anything?
No, there's not
Oh, that's
costs.
neat.
If you'd like to give a little donation, that's great. So they're gonna be.
Like little danglers
Yeah,
kind of thing?
danglers with beautiful pearls and,
Okay. Colorful for the holidays.
jewel beads.
That's
and-
Thursday at 5:30 this
Yes.
week. All right.
Something I'm doing this month, we're gonna talk about conservation. I've been, that's a big thing right now with climate change and, single-use plastics. Everybody's talking about what can you do? It's just one small thing, if you do it, makes a big difference. If everybody's doing one thing, it's
Okay.
gonna make a big difference. So we're offering a program called Ripples of Conservation, Small Acts Still Make a Difference. And Suzanne Westlake from Ashtabula Soil and Water Conservation, she's coming in to offer this program.
Really?
So if you're concerned about, what you can do to make the planet cleaner, this is a good program for you to come to. She's going to offer some suggestions that you can have your little kids doing,
Things that the family can do together, even
Right.
in their homes or
Right.
on their properties.
Because there's
or
a lot of
whatever.
small things that you can do.
Huh.
Just picking one makes a big difference. And
Wow, you got Suzanne coming in. So that is next week, what, Wednesday?
Yes.
At 5:30?
right,
And is that a free thing and just,
that's a
you
free
need to
thing.
sign up or just show up?
You don't have to sign up.
Okay.
Just show up.
Boy, that would be
I'm
very
excited
informative, I
about
think.
that because even I have a granddaughter who is 7 and she's already aware
What
of
thinks about these
right
things?
about using plastic and
What about like recycling kind
Right.
of things, those kind of things?
so they
Well, schools talk
it's
about
on-
that, I
right,
think,
it-
nowadays.
it's on their radar.
I don't remember a
so-
whole lot of that growing up. Do you, as you were younger?
I remember when my daughter was in school, it was all about saving water, like don't let the water run while you're brushing your teeth.
Okay.
I can remember all that, and I
I guess
remember.
that's true. What about our day? I don't know if
Yeah,
my day, I
no,
can remember a lot.
We just,
Used it all.
right. We,
But this is something that kids even get involved in. I know the schools where my son goes to,
Right.
they talk about these things. At least it kind of puts them in a mindset of thinking, the one thing I guess anybody can do, everybody could be less wasteful.
Right.
Let's put it that way.
Right.
Even if you're not like, well, I'm not sure I'm into this 100. why can't you turn off something water when you're not doing, I mean, why
Right.
can't you use this and put a plastic here and put a paper there?
Yeah.
It isn't gonna kill you to do it, and it keeps things cleaner, neater, I
Right.
mean,
And it's getting easier and easier because there's a lot
Yeah,
of
that's true.
organizations out there that are now helping you purchase, and they're expensive, but the more we use things that are not in plastic, or the prices will come down.
Yeah.
Right now, they're the premium because there's only a few out there
like drain
doing that.
containers, reusable.
Right.
I mean, everybody, the water's convenient.
Or shampoo that's in the bar,
I didn't
bars
think of
that
that,
are
and then you just
plastic.
replace it.
Yeah, or laundry soap,
You know, that's true too, you
big
buy those
plastic
every month,
jugs,
that's
oh
true.
my goodness,
And they gotta go somewhere.
They're so thick, I'm like, that's gonna, 100,000
But what
years,
about
they're still gonna be in the
refillables?
ground, right.
Things
So
like that
there's a lot of
nature.
those businesses popping up,
So this Suzanne should be good knowledge on this
Right,
next
right.
Wednesday, 13th,
And then the Wednesday following that, I believe.
20th, right?
Let's see, is that right? November 20th, the following Wednesday, we're also going to do an informative program on dementia and Alzheimer's. And this is also dear to my heart because a lot of the people that I deliver to, they're elderly, and sometimes while in the course of a year or 2 years as I'm delivering, I can see that they're starting to have problems with memory loss.
Things going on.
Right, and I just, I don't ever know what to do. How do I talk to them? Do I tell them that that's not right, or, so, we have, Marty Dixon coming in, and she's going to help us help people who are
Is this
starting.
something she does with her, like,
Yes,
her work or
she's
something?
she has a BA or a master's in clinical counseling.
I see.
So she works a lot with families who are dealing with elderly parents or grandparents who are starting
Wow.
to show signs of dementia or Alzheimer's. And how do you do?
Well, it
things
says
with
types of
them.
dementia, onset, early signs, treatment, medications, grief reactions.
Right.
Wow, she does have a lot of degrees after her
Yeah,
name.
she has a lot of letters
So
after her
she's
name.
coming out the 20th, and that's 4:30. If this would be something helpful to you.
Right.
Wow,
So 2
that
Wednesdays
could
in a
be
row,
very
one
informative.
about conservation
Yeah.
and one about dementia and Alzheimer's, 2 Wednesdays right in a row.
Okay, I got that.
Mark your Wednesday calendars.
Do you know if that's the same lady that does sometimes plays at AVOB or totally different?
I do not
I know of a Marty Dixon that
Okay,
does play,
well, I'll
but I don't
find
know if
out.
it's the same
'Cause
one.
She does have a,
'Cause her husband,
she has a
Dennis-
BA in music, so.
Dennis Dixon is an actor that comes to
Oh,
AVOB
okay.
too, but I don't know if it's the same lady or not.
All
so-
right.
But her name's Marty Dixon too, if it is.
How many can there be, right?
You wonder.
Yeah.
But she's really
Maybe
good in
it's that
acting,
area.
so, she could be a very good presenter.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it,
20th.
because that will help me, because I'm
Sure
always
will.
bumbling around trying to figure out what
What
to
do you
say or
do?
how do I handle that. Christy Barnes is coming back in, she's my essential oils lady.
Okay.
She's gonna come in, we're gonna do a roller bar. So,
A
how's that?
roller bar, what does that mean?
The little roller bars are those, you open them up and you just roll them on your wrist.
I got you.
And, so she's gonna have several different
That you're gonna make
kinds that you
your
can
own.
make, and you just pick and choose the ones you want. So there might be one for calmness. I made one the last time she was there, that you put it on your pillow, and it has like lavender in it, and so.
How did you like
It's
what
wonderful.
deodorant left behind?
Yeah,
You liked
it's
it?
wonderful. And I have a peppermint one that I keep on my desk, and it's to energize you. I use that about 2 o'clock in the afternoon when
And
it's
can
time
you
for a
tell
nap.
the scents are there?
The scents are there, and they're
How long
smell so
did they seem
good.
to last for you?
My rollerball, I'm trying to think when she was in, it's been a couple months, and I still
And
am
it still
using,
works?
not so much the one on my pillow, because I use that a lot. But the one that I have at my desk,
Yeah.
that still has a lot in it, so.
So it's where these
So
last,
they
is
last
there
a
a
couple
cost
months
to
at
this
least.
at all?
There is a cost. Some of the roller balls will be like $5. Some of them might be $15, but you pick and choose the ones you want to
You
make.
wanna do.
And we do ask that you sign up for that because she has to provide all the material.
And when
for
day is
that.
she doing this
And that's
again?
on Thursday the 14th.
Oh, next
at
week,
5:30.
actually.
Yeah.
All right.
I know, November just came so
Boy,
fast.
and it's rolling right through.
Right.
And
This
that's
is
at
our-
5:30 then,
Right.
okay.
This is our embroidery. We're doing that on the 21st, and she's going to do a winter scene. So I think we're going to do like a pine tree with some snow on it,
Oh.
or maybe a wreath. She's got several different things that you can come in. You have to register for that because we have to make sure we have embroidery hoops for everybody. You'll definitely get it
What if you've
started.
never done
You
it
may-
before?
well, I only did it once.
So
when
it's a newbie
we
thing,
offered
too?
an embroidery class a few months ago, and I made flowers and stuff, and it was so much fun. So she's going to, by the time you're done, you'll have learned like 6 of the most basic knots,
Okay.
or sewing, I don't even know what they're called.
Embroidery terms.
Right, I don't know. My
So you
embroidery
might not
terms.
finish your picture that
So if
day,
you
but
don't
you'll know
finish
how
it,
to
then
do it.
you'll take it home and finish it,
Okay.
and then bring the
That
food
could be
back.
fun to learn.
Right, and that's why I said she comes in and does, she did a whole quilt with nothing but embroidery on it.
Oh, wow.
So that's Diana Greer, you do have to sign up for that, so we
Okay,
can make sure we
we'll
have
keep
enough
that going.
stuff. And our side-by-sides are growing, and it's so much fun, we're gonna do a scarecrow, and that's on the 15th, it's a Friday at 5:30. That seems to work best for most families, cause you've gotten home,
Is this a
had your
family
dinner.
event?
It's side-by-side, so it's
Okay.
parents,
Oh, that's right,
grandparents,
and-
and their children,
and younger.
or we do have people who just come in, two adults, they're the side by side, I don't care, as long as one
Somebody
of
and
you are
somebody else.
over as an adult. And I usually go 6 and up with your sidekick.
On the sidekick.
I tried younger, but it's an hour-long program, and an hour is a long time, so,
Okay.
so that's, and you do have to sign up for that, so that I can set up and have enough, material
Wow.
for everybody.
So making a cool scarecrow on the 15th, ready for your fall and Thanksgiving time.
Right. It'd
How
be
big
nice
is
little-
this you're thinking when
We're
you're done?
doing it on a canvas, we're
Oh, on a
painting it on a
okay.
canvas, so it'd be a nice thing for your,
that's
your
neat.
Thanksgiving Day table.
And the two of you working together.
Right.
Side by side. That's a
Yeah.
great little activity.
It is.
5:30 on a Friday.
Right.
Perfect.
That's one of my favorite programs, really, I love to watch.
And that is so many
Probably
different
get along.
things.
So that's what's going on at the library in November. Oh, of course, we're doing the Mandala rock painting with Cindy, and you do have to sign up for that. That's on the Tuesday, the 19th. And she went to a Mandela rock painting class, and it's, I think she's coming in to
She's
talk
going to be
about that.
specifically here with me. You're saying she's on the 19th. I think she's here the Monday before.
So watch,
talk about
right,
that.
if you're watching today, make sure you watch on the 18th
And this is rock
because it's
painting.
on a rock. But she ordered the material. I can't believe how much material
Yeah.
you use for that. Special brushes and special things that you poke. It's unbelievable, all the stuff that
Wow.
you're going to be using. So, and if you've never done it before, it's just going to be really cool because you're going to learn something new, a new art form. So
Great.
that's
That's
really
coming
cool.
up down the road too.
And we have our, all our book clubs. The Bring Your Own Book, we're meeting at State Street Diner this month, and
Are
that's
you?
also on the 19th.
Okay.
We have a really nice little group of people that come to that. It averages
and what time do
between
you meet
8
there?
and 12.
Start
We meet
that?
there at 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock on the 19th.
So it's supper time.
And you bring the book to share with us.
And you bring your own book that you think everybody should read. I've gotten some really good suggestions from that group since we've started. And if you don't want to eat, just order a cup of coffee or ice water, that's fine. But if you want to save up your
But you
appetite
can
and
eat
eat
and meal
dinner,
together while you're
yeah,
talking about books.
We eat and talking about books. So it's going to be a busy week, or busy month. We started our cookbook club back up. So this month you have to get a book from the library, one of our library
Yeah.
cookbooks, and use a recipe out of there.
Ooh.
So it can be almost anything. It could be,
And when they bring it, you guys share that food
Yeah.
together on that meeting.
yeah.
Is that pretty cool?
And I missed last month. We did pizza last
Oh.
month, and I had a seminar I had to go to that day. But everyone in the library was telling me how wonderful it was and how wonderful
And the
the
aroma
library is.
probably in there too.
But I missed that one. So,
All right, well, looking ahead in the month, and I want to clear a couple things. You'll be closed Friday this week and Monday the
we'll
11th,
be there, but you
Veterans.
can't come in. Right.
Are you closed Thanksgiving Day and the day after, or just Thanksgiving, or how does that work? Is it on your calendar by chance?
No, it's not on my calendar.
I don't
know
remember
we're
if you had
closed
both or not.
Thanksgiving, but I would be surprised if we're closed on
I didn't know
Friday.
for sure. Okay.
It seems like, yeah, we're just.
You're open that
We're
after,
definitely
then-
closed Thanksgiving though.
Okay.
And then, cause I think in December for Christmas, we have a couple days off.
Yeah, there's like, because it's on a
Christmas Eve,
Wednesday and New Year's
Yeah.
are Wednesdays this year. That
So-
kind of is odd,
Right.
you know, middle week.
So we have more days off in December.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
that's
so
great.
it's
Kathy,
always nice
thank
to
you.
see a
So
day
many
off coming
things.
up. A lot of things going on at the library.
And we'll keep announcing these for
Right,
you too.
so come on
But
in.
tonight,
Tonight,
5:30.
5:30, come
See
in
all about
and
Ireland.
visit Ireland.
from one of your library folks you know at the library.
Yeah, she's excited. She loved her trip there. So.
This will be awesome, and you'll
It
learn
will.
things you didn't know from where you went.
Right, that's what she said. It's a completely different part of the country. So
All right, well, thanks for sharing.
thank you very much for having
We'll take a
me.
little break. We'll do some more news and stories in a bit. Mr. John Patterson's with us after 9 o'clock today,
Great.
your state representative, so we'll talk with him. More Sunrise Live coming your way in just a bit.
My asthma can stop me in an instant. Being an active person, that just isn't an option. My pharmacist, he's got my back. Because of that, I can stay out in front.
Good Neighbor Pharmacy. Locally owned, locally operated, locally loved. See the pharmacists at Gertis Pharmacy in downtown Conneaut, your prescription specialists since 1960.
We are the dreamers. We come in a variety of colors
and styles.
a variety of sizes,
We come in different patterns.
and different materials.
We are the dreamers.
Achieving your dream can take work. I just wanted to do a career,
But don't give up.
changing my life. Don't ever give up.
Ignore the haters.
They didn't believe that I can do it, and I just proved them that I can. Independence University.
IU is an online college,
Education online for a better life offline.
so your campus is wherever you want it to be.
Take classes when you want to take classes.
At IU, you receive the tools you need at no extra cost.
Even a brand new laptop and tablet to use in school.
You're gonna keep that laptop and tablet when you graduate.
And IU's Career Services work really hard to help you get a job.
You've got to have dreams.
Independence University.
Education online for a better life offline.
Call 1-800-853-7173. That's 1-800-853-7173.
Hi, I'm Joan London. Today's senior living communities have never been better, and nobody understands your options like the advisors at A Place for Mom. A Place for Mom is a free service to help you find a place that fits your parents' budget, needs, and personalities. Call today. A Place for Mom. You know your family, we know senior living. Together, we'll make the right choice.
Call A Place for Mom to get your free ebook on financing senior care. Call 1-800-961-7769.
Alrighty, welcome back to Sunrise Live. It's about 8:52. We're going to be talking here in just a short bit with our state representative John Patterson. Always a good conversation on a Monday morning. So for things updating us on all sorts of things around District 99. So it'll be great to chat with him in just a little bit. Please make use and take available all your different activities. Kathy brought a lot of different activities in here for the month of November at your Conneaut Library. All you got to do is go to the Conneaut website, go to Google, type in Conneaut Library. It'll pop up the website. You click on their page, and then there's a big events calendar that shows you everything from children's events to events for everyone to the adult events. Everything they've got going is there on the calendar. The things that you need to sign up for are there as well. So please take advantage and use your Conneaut Library as much as you can. All right, weather right now, sun's out this morning. It's about 45 degrees right now. We're probably going to hit a high of about 55 degrees today, down to 42 for the low tonight. Tomorrow looks like some rain's coming in the area. We're going to be about 10 degrees lower. The high temp's probably going to be the mid-40s. 29 is the expected low Tuesday night. Wednesday, mostly cloudy skies, mid-40s once again. Mid-30s at night on Wednesday are expected. Thursday and Friday look like they've got rain. I see little droplets attached to the clouds there for both days. Listen to this. If things hold up the way they're showing, mid to upper 30s for the temperatures Thursday and Friday. 30s, maybe under 40 degrees for both days, and in the 20s at night. It's going to get cold, guys. And then Saturday the 9th, it looks like a partly sunny sky, 37 for the high and 30 for the low. Holy mackerel. All right, while we've got a couple of minutes, let me take some time to catch up on our police activity calls here. I like to share these. The police department here in Conneaut always sends me a copy of what kind of calls came into the center. And I've got the last couple of days here, Saturday and Sunday for you. So these calls are from Saturday, November 2nd to the Conneaut Police Department. There was a suspicious vehicle call from State Street. There was a couple of animal calls, one from Route 7 and Welton Road, and then from Center Street. There was an assault called in on Grove Street Saturday. An accident was called in on Main Street and Buffalo. They needed help with a vehicle unlock on Reeg Avenue Saturday. Let's see, there was a disturbance in the parking lot of the Days Inn. A call came into the police for that Saturday, and then a domestic call on 15th Street Saturday evening as well. So those are all of your Saturday calls. And let me give you the one from Sunday, then we'll update a couple other things. Yesterday, phone calls came in for suspicious activity from Biscoff Avenue. There was an overdose call from Center Street made. A suspicious person call from South Ridge Road. There was a report of a theft on Buffalo Street. There was a call of a pedestrian walking on Interstate 90 yesterday. A reckless driver on I-90 was called in, and suspicious activity on Main Street was called in as well. So there are your calls from the Conneaut Police. Now, what I didn't do last week that I'll do a quick update for you right now. Every Wednesday, they change over the taped programming. Our show is live in the mornings from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. And then they have taped programming all day through the early morning hours. And I know I didn't give you the new schedule. And of course, that'll still be for today and tomorrow. It'll probably change over as of Wednesday. But let me give you the schedule here on your cab channels. Whether with Great Wave, you're watching Channel 6, or Spectrum is 1024, of course, 7 o'clock Sunrise Live. 10 a.m. after we're done, the Conneaut City Council meeting's on. Hometown Happenings at 10:45. Jill Lasky, our interview with her is on at 11:20 during the day. 11:50 is the library line video. Those are always good. Let's see, 12:05, just after noon, you'll see the football game between Conneaut and the Conneaut Area High School, or CASH School. That video will be shown. Tim Volpone will be interviewed about winterizing tips for your home. He's at 1:45. County Connections, that's where your county commissioners make a tape. They're on at 2:15. A video about Levy 41 for the fire department is at 2:40. 3 o'clock, Levy 28 for the Metro Parks. That video's on at 3. Around Town with Chuck Guglielmo is on at 3:30. Feed Our Veterans video is at 4 o'clock. 4:30, the most recent Heart to Heart Ministry meeting video. 5:30, the Lake Erie Auto Workshop video is on, again starting at 7 at night. Conneaut City Council meeting, Hometown Happenings, 7:45. Around Town with Chuck at 8. The library line at 8:15. 8:35 at night, Feed Our Veterans. 8:50, the most recent North Kingsville City Council meeting. 9:30, Conneaut Levy 41 will be discussed. Jill Lasky video interview is on at 9:45. Let's see, Conneaut Area Chamber of Commerce luncheon video is 10:15. Metro Park video 11:05, 11:30. Tim Volpone with winterizing tips for your home. He's from Ziegler Heating. That's 11:30. Around Town with Chuck, 12:45 in the AM. Mr. Dave Thomas video from Sunrise Live will be on at 1 in the morning. North Kingsville City Council at 1:30, and then Feed Our Vets again at 2 o'clock, 2:10 in the morning. So there's programming all day and into the early morning hours right here on your cable access channels, Channel 6 and Channels 10-24. We're so glad that we're a part of the Conneaut Cable Channel Network. All right, here's what I'm going to do. So close to 9 o'clock, let's take a break. We got Cindy Prather coming in here from the library to videotape part of our talk this morning with Mr. Patterson. I got to get Mr. Patterson in here to talk. Let's break for a few minutes and we'll have a great chat with John Patterson, your state representative. Stay tuned, there's more to come.
Set up your free free, no obligation consultation during Bath Wrap's Simply Transformative Celebration Sale. Call 1-800-894-1205. 1-800-894-1205.
Are you paying too much for your health insurance? Just this year, the United States Tax Cuts and Jobs Act became official, and health insurance laws have changed. If you have Obamacare, are uninsured, or struggling to afford your current health insurance, this could impact you. Call the number on your screen right now to find out how. It's free. New affordable health insurance, as well as dental coverage, is now available with low copays and deductibles and guaranteed coverage. Top quality health coverage at the lowest prices anywhere. The Affordable Health Insurance Hotline is now accepting calls. Call today. It's free. You may have insufficient coverage or may be significantly overpaying and not even realize it. If you're uninsured or unable to pay for health coverage, make this important call now. It's free. Find out if you qualify for health care, dental coverage, and more. That can start immediately. Get all the benefits that you're eligible for.
Call 1-800-916-5301. That's 1-800-916-5301.
so we're on the show on a Monday.
Monday.
The first Monday of a brand new month. Welcome.
Great to be here.
State Representative, soon to be President John Patterson. Now we're just talking out loud. So tell your dear wife that she made that decision on our show. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I'll be.
I
you
can
have an
serve you
extra
I have an
couch.
extra room. Yeah, come to the couch tonight if you want. I'm just teasing you. But welcome to our show.
It's great to be
You
here.
mostly come here on a Monday, and
Yeah.
you just bright. Mondays for some people are, oh, it's Monday again. It's never just a Monday
No.
with Patterson here on the show.
No,
So welcome to
no,
the show.
No.
And how was your weekend? And then go into just so we can use your time up. Go into your list. You got a
I
big
have a
list
long
of things
laundry
today.
list, yes,
So just
big
tell me
one.
how things are going right now.
Well, Friday, I came to Conneaut to pay my respects to Cole Walker.
Mm-hmm.
And I have been incredibly impressed with the outpouring of love and support for the entire family. I brought with me a resolution from the Ohio House to present to his widow.
Mm.
And I did not receive confirmation because I left before. The governor was supposed to have been here
Okay.
in the afternoon. I knew that he was coming up. They wanted to keep it quiet. That's not a public.
You just don't want all the, yeah.
He was coming to pay his respects as a governor to a private citizen, and I respect that. But deepest sympathy to the entire family, and what an incredible young man. So.
Well, he lived out his dream, and unfortunately that's how it ended, but he got to be what he wanted to be. And now it's the family, they need that support and prayers. Exactly. Well, thank you for coming out for that.
But that's important. That's important. And then Saturday, had, this is part of the 99th District, Geauga County. I have 5 townships in
That's
Thompson.
true. We're always thinking of you right here.
Right, in the sharpest corner. It takes
But
me an
you're
hour to
all
get
over.
from here to Chard, the two
It's
ends.
still
of
part
the
of your 99.
Still part of the 99. But great things have been happening in Thompson.
Okay.
A couple weeks ago, we broke ground for a brand new library there, just
Love our libraries.
love libraries, the cradle of democracy, I might add. And we just we broke ground just north of the square for that, and then Saturday there was a soft opening, not really a ribbon cutting, for Hemley's. They're moving their tool store. They're moving from Montville down Route 6 to the old Ford building, and then they're building another large facility.
So
just
some
to the
expansion
east.
there going on with
Some
them.
expansion
Nice.
there. And then the old Ledgemont High School, there's still some movement by a company to convert that into
Like
an
repurpose
Alzheimer's.
the building.
Yeah.
Can they do
repurpose it.
this? Is that okay? Nice.
So lots of good things. I mean, Thompson has been on my radar for a long time. Obviously, when Ledgemont closed and merged with Berkshire, and I can get into that shortly too. There were some businesses that closed, and it was a difficult time for Thompson.
Okay.
I mean, the Ford dealership closed. There was a couple other stores on the square that were in dire shape there, but it is becoming revitalized. And what's more, right after that, have you been to Thompson Ledges recently?
I don't think so.
They have built.
I know of them, but no.
You've got to go. Got to go. They built a set of stairs.
Okay.
From the top of the ledges down to the bottom. It's just absolutely beautiful.
Oh.
Nancy and I hiked around there. We hadn't done that in a couple of years, but I can tell you that with the leaves.
At the time you went,
Oh
was
my
it
goodness,
beautiful?
Absolutely
Did you
beautiful.
use the stair thing at all? So how was that?
Oh, it was fantastic.
Easier access for some then. Okay.
Right, as opposed to kind of shuffling
That's
over
pretty.
the
No,
waters.
let's check that out.
Yeah,
Beautiful area.
It absolutely is. And we stopped for a time up at the gazebo on top, and there were some pumpkins there and some squash, and Nancy said, "Look, somebody's put scattered rose petals around here." And I said, "I wonder if they had a wedding or something up here." I don't know,
but it could have been something.
Could have been, but
it would have been a nice area.
You look out and you see the landscape there with the fall foliage, absolutely wonderful. And then yesterday we went to the Sheffield Fire Department. Their all-you-can-eat pancake breakfast. Got to make
Good
sure
old
we're in Sheffield. So and Saturday night we went to the Cattlemen's banquet.
Okay,
at Lennox
I've heard of
Community
that,
Center.
yeah.
Oh my goodness, best prime rib you'll ever have.
Pretty good.
Oh, excellent, excellent.
Well, if they're cattlemen, it's got to be.
Gotta be. So I try to keep moving around to
I
keep
see
a pulse
that.
on the district as much as I can.
Nice.
When I'm holding, and of course this week I'm headed back to Columbus.
what kind of things, when you're around, and of course, people want to come say hi to you.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're here, John, and your wife is usually with you at some of these events.
Well, they come to see her, not me.
I would think sometimes she's a better conversationalist,
Oh,
but
of
other
course.
than that,
Yeah.
what kind of things do people ever ask you stuff political, or just talk to you like a friend? What do they usually come up to do
All the
with you?
above.
Do they really?
All the above.
I mean, I wonder if you're ever just a regular person to these people.
Sometimes.
You know.
Sometimes, yeah.
Or is it always, John, can you, or what are you, or,
Right,
you know,
right.
how do you get approached a lot?
It
A little of
just
everything?
matters. Yeah, and sometimes it's former students, like when
That's
we were
true.
we were at the Sheffield yesterday. There's a student I hadn't seen in 24 years with his wife and his child, and that was pretty cool. We just talked about, school
In
stuff.
high
and
school
stuff.
days, back
Yeah.
20-some years ago.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing when that happens? You see these kids just move on.
I'm
That's our
blessed.
new generation.
I'm blessed. I worked with 3 of my former students.
You did tell me that last trip you were here. That's
It's
amazing.
really, really incredible.
So great weekend, busy, of course.
Yeah, it's important. When I'm at home, I need to know what's going on in the life of my people.
Right.
And that's the best thing for Nancy and I to do, to get out, because we've never left our roots here.
Yeah.
And when I'm home, I'm home. I'm part of Jefferson, part of Ashtabula County, part of.
Just because I'm curious, once in a while, do you unplug and you're just John P. and wife for a couple hours every so often? Or do you never get that opportunity?
No. Last night, she went hiking with the church group.
Okay.
They went over to Hogback Ridge.
And you took a nap.
No, I didn't. I was enjoying some time.
Somebody wants you, I think, if you don't mind.
No.
Because
then
they
I'll
go
tell you
away if
about
we
it.
don't.
Right.
Hello there. Welcome to our show with State Rep John Patterson today.
Good morning, John. This is Matt Crawford.
Hey, Matt.
Matt Crawford, how are you?
I'm doing good. You ask you how many people approach you, and you make them a friend automatically. So you approach John as a friend. Not as Congressman, representative, or he's just one of the guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you're gonna get. One of the good points of John, for sure. Makes you comfortable.
I'm having a little bit of trouble understanding you, Matt, on the phone. I'm that last part.
It makes you comfortable as a friend.
Oh,
Yes.
as a friend, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's true. You probably come across that way. Is that how you perceive him too?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just John.
I just wanted to say good morning.
I appreciate that.
Bye-bye.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
Okay, well, that was, Matt Crawford around, and everyone knows me.
Wait a minute. Now, the first Saturday after Labor Day,
Everybody.
Outdoor Learning Center,
Discovery Day,
right.
and everything else. So,
Anything
good job,
else?
Matt. Thank you.
Love that.
I was checking, do you have an unplugged time once in a while?
Yes, we do.
Ever?
So yesterday, Nancy went on a hike with the church folks. I went over to Hogback Ridge. And admittedly, I was tired. I know it seems hard to believe, but
This
sometimes
energy, man.
I do. So I stayed home, and there were some things I need to get done. The battery in the tractor, and the hose need to be put away.
How do you do?
Yeah. So I stayed home, but I also started a fire. And when she came home, I had the fire going.
That was a good weekend for this kind of
It
thing.
really was, and we ate dinner together. There were no phone calls. It's just our little time together.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very nice.
You have to do that.
Oh, yeah, I know that. I've just said, you guys are busy and you work a lot, and you incorporate time on weekends and off and all that. But, all right, and I want to know where you want to head today. You got 3 or 4 things at least on your agenda we need to hit.
Yeah, some legislation. Then I want to talk about the lake and some of the damage that was done at Township Park and what
pictures I saw.
Yes, tragic ones. But this week, and I'm told, this is tentative, Wednesday.
Okay.
We will be signing, the governor will be signing a bill in the presence of Tyler Gerald's mom. Now, he is the young man who was killed at Ohio State Fair. The bill that I was a joint sponsor on, 189, now known as Tyler's Law, that impacts amusement ride safety throughout Ohio. That had a couple hearings in the Senate, passed unanimously, out of committee since I've seen you last.
Oh, okay.
And then it went to the floor the following day and passed unanimously out of the Senate. Now, here's what makes that so incredible. Attached to that is an emergency clause.
Okay.
Typically, when the bill is signed or agreed to by one of the chambers and it goes to the governor's desk, there's a 90-day window where the folks can make some comments and the governor can think about what he wants to do until it goes into effect, because it's one last check in case the legislature has not dotted
What
all
happened
its
this
I's.
time?
Well, with an emergency clause, the bill goes into effect immediately. Immediately. Now, typically, there are some that is an extreme measure. We always want to make sure, if we can, that there is adequate time to review to make sure that the bill as drafted and passed actually reflects what we want it to. An emergency clause is serious stuff. And typically, there are a number of people who just vote no because there's never that much of an emergency out of principle, and I respect that. But there was no such opposition in the Senate.
Everybody wanted this.
Everybody understood. They knew how important
That's pretty
this
rare
was.
than I take it.
It is, and when it did pass, it was out in the hall, out of the chamber with Amber, Tyler's mother. And we just
Well, let's
hugged
say
her.
for future people, great. What's her feeling take on this?
She would like to institute this nationwide, because there are other states that have loose laws as well.
But it's a
Ohio is
starting
now
point
one of
now.
the models for
Okay.
the others, and she's just grateful that we were able to get this through. But we shared, and my aide was with us there, and she was a little misty-eyed too, because Alex Sawatsky, Alexandra, but she goes by Alex, this is her first bill that she's seen from beginning to end, and she has talked with Amber. She has been with Amber many times. She was getting a little emotional too. It is when you help people, and help people you don't even know, by tweaking the law to make sure that there is safety, better safety standards. That's why I do this job, to help people, and to have a hug that seemed like it lasted forever from a mom who was absolutely crying for joy, in sorrow as well, mixed emotions.
Well, she's going to see something, the wording of this isn't right, positive come out of a tragedy, but going forward, maybe, hey, one person saved compared to what he went through just makes that difference. So it's a good thing. Apparently, you all felt this needed done, so,
We did, because amazingly, between the time we had testimony for the first, in the Senate Ag Committee, and the time the bill passed, there was another ride issue, I think in New Jersey. There was a young child, 3 or 4, who was seriously injured, might have been killed. I've kind of lost track of the story because it was out of state. But again, we have to make sure these rides are safe. And so there's going to be more inspectors. There is going to be better communication between the ride manufacturers and the owners and the operators. And the Ohio Department of Agriculture is going to have definite defined oversight into where these rides have been and for how long.
Okay.
So, and there's going to be some definite improvements, and that's always important. But that was special.
So
for me.
possibly Wednesday could be the day that it's in.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
And when it does, I'll let you know. But
No, sure.
that's important.
to Sunrise Live here on this Monday morning, the 4th of November. For you folks at home, sorry, we just had, we got somebody climbing up on the tower today and doing some work. We had a quick power,
Lights out show.
You
That's
saw
what
me
you
go
have, yeah.
black on the screen, and then we're back on now because the power came right back up, but it was kind of interesting. I can't tell you the why it happened, but we're back on and good to
We
go with
are.
State Representative
Kevin
John
Jess,
Patterson.
Good to see you.
I know you had a couple of other things on
Yeah.
your agenda, like water was one of
Yeah,
them and
yeah.
other things, so kind of go in the order you want to get.
Let's go into water, because then I can
Okay.
touch on the beach in
Sure.
Township Park. So, since I've seen you last, we had our first hearing, Representative Gombari and I, in the Senate Finance for HB 7, and that would provide the funding for the governor's H2 Ohio initiative.
Okay.
And this would, in perpetuity, fund water projects throughout the state.
And I have learned from Kevin O'Leary on Shark Tank, perpetuity going forward forever,
Yes.
doesn't end.
It doesn't
He wants
end.
all his deals with perpetuity, so I've learned things.
All right.
That meant nothing to you guys, but it means something
It's
to me.
something.
So it's gonna be in perpetuity to go forward.
And it would allow villages, cities, other entities to apply for grants or loans for water quality projects.
Okay.
So here's how this would work. It could be used for municipal upgrades.
Okay.
Sewer upgrades.
Yeah.
It could be used for septic tanks in a number of areas, like in a township or something. It could be used to purchase land for wetlands. It could be
Okay.
used for research. It could be used to cooperatively purchase farm equipment that would allow for improved agricultural practices, like in the Western Basin.
Okay.
But the idea is that if there is an excess, once a rainy day fund is full,
Okay.
by law, we have to make sure that we're being prudent stewards of the
Certain
rainy
funding
day.
level. Okay.
Then if the receipts are greater than that, they would be redirected into the H2 Ohio Fund.
Okay.
And much like our retirement funds, the funds would be grown by a special board, and then another advisory council would receive the grants and determine which of the grants are feasible to be funded.
Okay.
And it would put a cap of $100 million a year, which sounds like a lot, but I'll come back to that shortly. Anywhere throughout the state, we have a lot of work. How much do you think it would take to fully upgrade just Cleveland's municipal sewer system? And I've seen this estimate.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know, because I don't know the cost of that. But
One city,
millions, or I don't know where.
$1 billion.
For the city of
$1 billion
Cleveland?
for the city of Cleveland. That's one city,
Okay.
one upgrade to where it really ought to be.
Okay.
So $100 million
Yeah.
scattered around the state isn't all that much, but and that's why the perpetuity, because it is going to take us decades to get where we need to be. Because in the old days, sometimes the storm sewer and the sanitary sewer, to save money, were commingled. They run in the same line.
Okay.
And the problem is they go to the treatment plant, and if you get some of the torrential rains that
Yeah.
we have seen, in order to protect the integrity of the plant, you can't treat all that water at one time, because you just open the gates, which means all that stuff is going downriver or into the lake, whichever the case may be. That's not a good thing. So we need to separate the storm from the sanitary over a long period of time and upgrade, and that's gonna cost a lot of money, and that in part is what H2 Ohio, but it's doing something now for future generations that ought to have been done years
So
ago.
can you see in your 99th district, how do you see something like that
Oh, my goodness.
working for all of us?
Oh, heavens, yes. I think of Ashtabula. I know Geneva on the Lake has done a lot recently.
Okay.
Jim Hockaday and I've spoken. Conneaut could use some of that
Mhm.
money. And that's just in the 99th, and there are 98 other districts
Yeah.
that would have similar challenges too. But the point is, that's being heard in the Senate. I have a meeting with the governor's folks next week to see how that ties in with the intent of the program.
Okay.
But that one's gaining legs. Now, why is that important? Because I have another bill that Jim Hockaday called me back in June when the intake was being threatened on the banks of Lake Erie.
I remember this.
And Conneaut had to expend $300,000
Right.
to fix that. Well, the problem is, the Ohio Public Works Commission does set aside a chunk of money in each budget, each biennium budget, for emergency repairs. That money is gone. It was gone July 1st, the very
was already
first day,
used.
already committed. So now if something happens, communities such as Conneaut have to dig into their own pockets. So what I've done is to reach out to another rep, and she represents, it's Representative Gail Manning. She represents an area along the lake, Avon Lake to be
Okay.
specific. Because her mayor, who was a Model UN advisor, and I've known him for years, Greg Zilka, has told her of a similar issue that Avon Lake may be having. And his concern is when the lake freezes and the ice begins to work on the banks, that they too may be in jeopardy because of the high water levels of the
This
lake.
is definitely
And
no
if you've
sign.
seen Township Park and the damage the winds have done with respect to the boardwalk down there, we have an issue. In fact, we had a meeting with ODNR a couple weeks ago in Ashtabula about high water levels. They're not going down anytime soon, and that is going to be a challenge. So this bill would provide temporary funding. It would set aside $10 million until the next budget, because there will be an increase in the next budget due to it falls under the transportation budget. Remember, we increased the gas tax?
Right.
But some of that money goes to the Ohio Public Works Commission. Well, in the short term, this is like an insurance policy. If communities like Conneaut need that, we have the structure already in place. It just provides the funding for it. And then in 2 years, what isn't used would go back to the general revenue fund, because it would be funded due to the increase in the transportation budget. My point is, there are going to be problems. We've had a lot of calls about erosion from private residents along the Lake Erie shoreline. I know in township parks, it's not just Conneaut. Geneva Township Park has been in touch with me. Saybrook Township Park, because they've lost or are losing their beaches, and the high water levels just wreaking havoc with their natural banks there, and we have to protect those areas too. So we have some real challenges
I guess so.
going forward along the lake with high water, but also the quality of water. So that school funding has just taken up an inordinate amount of my time. A second place on the list is Lake Erie Water
Wow,
Quality.
okay.
But again, those two issues are critically important to my people here.
Wow.
And that's why it's important. So I am concerned, and contrary to urban legend, there is no dam on Lake Erie. I mean, Niagara Falls is it. We've had calls, tell them to lower the lake level by
Where do we siphon that off?
there isn't. It has to be naturally done through
Yeah.
evaporation
Right.
and the lack of rainfall and such. But it's gonna be a process, and here's what concerns me. There are natural cycles, but Ohio State has been tracking the intensity of our rainstorms and the frequency of those storms, and the intensity and the frequency have increased. So we're getting more rains, and it's bringing more water with them.
Okay.
And that's going to create challenges too. And again, think of the fact that we have lost glaciers. There have been chunks of the Antarctic ice cap drop off because of rising ocean waters. I mean, scientists are telling us that this is going to be an issue for whatever reason, whatever causes it.
Yeah. So there's
the
some
temperatures are-
immediate relief, and then into the next year, it's hopefully, but that doesn't even sound like that number you said. Point, it's
100
hardly a
million.
tip of an iceberg.
It is.
The number sounds astronomical.
It does. But
Until
when
you say
start-
billion for one big city, or
Right.
something like that.
Right. And don't forget that the other cities
Well,
along the Ohio River.
Right.
And I'm thinking Cincinnati in particular. So,
Okay.
got some real challenges ahead, but you have to start
H2O.
somewhere.
Almost.
Oh my
H2
goodness.
Ohio.
Yep.
Be
So,
watching that.
Be watching that. I'll keep you apprised of that
Okay.
situation. The program is already, it's almost in place. They're ready to roll it out. The framework of
Okay.
it. It's the funding that this bill would provide long-term. There's funding already in this budget for the first 2 years, but after that, that's where HB 7 would provide that funding stream in perpetuity.
In perpetuity. All right, I appreciate that.
Mhm.
Where do you want to go? Was school on your mind or something else?
We're gonna
first?
get to that. I've got something else first.
Let's do that and then we'll break and maybe wrap up with a school, because we got a few minutes left. We got about 17 minutes.
We're good, we're good. So another one of my concerns, and this goes back to the cattleman's dinner that I attended the other night, and always being aware of my farm folks and the struggle they go through. The greatest challenge ahead for Ohio farmers is succession. In other words, the average age, and I've seen two different figures, 55 or 58. Our farm folks are, I'm gonna say this politically correct, maturing. Okay, are you maturing too?
Oh, I'm mature.
Okay.
I should be mature at this point. Yes. Chronologically maturing at
We can ask our wives if
as
they're
we
maturing
speak.
otherwise, yes, that's right. But
That's a number. Why is that number coming?
why is that number coming up? Because it's an increasingly difficult challenge for young people to get into farming because of the cost.
Okay.
Land prices have risen. A lot of these kids are coming out with college debt, and the cost of equipment has increased. Now, let me give you an example of what I'm talking about, and then I'll get into the bill that would begin to address that. So this has been the fall season to harvest soybeans and corn, right? And you know what a combine is, correct?
I think so.
It's a large machine, that's right.
Picks up all,
Yeah,
okay.
picks up. Trivia question here. How much do you think a new combine costs?
New.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're pretty, how much?
1 million.
She's
$1
a million, I don't know, that seems high to me.
She's close. She's close. Anywhere from 500,000 to a stripped out version to 750.
But in this range of hundreds of thousands.
Hundreds of thousands.
dollars.
How about a tractor?
Well, the big boys are gonna be probably in that range, I don't know.
Well, 125, 150.
But they're
now
not
you can get
just-
used to it.
They're not hard, they're cheap, they're not cheap,
No,
obviously.
they're not cheap.
And you have to have these.
That's right. Now that's just equipment.
Okay.
We've gotten into fertilizer and seed, and you want to buy property? You're going to need
yeah.
several acres,
Right.
hundreds of acres to be profitable, or you're going to have to rent, and that adds up too. And then you have the other bills, the normal everyday
So
bills.
farmers as a whole are disappearing, or we're having trouble replacing the family farms, or what?
That's it. Replacing the family farms.
Okay.
Now think of the stress on farmers with
refilling
the
them.
milk prices.
Okay, yeah.
Dairy is just taking
They're
a
all over
terrible
the place
hit.
anyway.
You want to talk about soybeans and what my soybean guys are going to do with the trade issue we have with China? I'm worried about them too.
So your farmers take a hit on that.
Oh my gosh.
You know, big hits.
My point is, a young person wanting to go into farming may not be able to because of the financial constraints. And yet, you like to eat.
Well, you have to have
I
farming.
like to eat. We have to have it, and we have to
But it's
prepare
like
the
if
next
it
generation.
can't make it work money-wise, they're
That's
not
right.
gonna wanna get into this.
That's right.
Okay.
Less than 2% of our nation's population, less than 2%, farm full-time for a
For
living.
that's their living, okay.
That's it. That's it.
Well, what a 2% then.
Exactly. And then if that dwindles more, that's
And the costs are the bigger factor of why this doesn't go forward, is the
Exactly.
costs of doing
Right.
it today.
So what we've done, and this has been experimented in other states, and with the help of Representative Manchester from
Okay.
Western Ohio, we've joint sponsored a bill that would provide a tax credit for young farmers and/or for a maturing farmer when he or she sells off, to encourage building the relationship between them. All right, so say I'm a young farmer and I want to get into it, and you're selling off. We can both get a tax credit, and I'll explain the limits on it, but if I'm willing to take a course in financial management, so I have better business acumen,
Okay.
and you're willing to sell me livestock or rent land or sell land or equipment, you're gonna get a tax credit. I will get a tax credit.
Both sides benefit from.
Both sides benefit. You're incentivized to find a young farmer.
Okay.
I'm incentivized to find you, and as a result, be able to remove some of the barriers for young farmers to get into this.
Okay.
Now, what we've done
Excuse me.
is put a cap on this, a $10 million cap over a 5-year period. It's an experiment. It's a pilot program to see if this works. Think of the tax incentives we offer to businesses all the time. payment in lieu of taxes.
I mean, like to come into a place and
yes.
open up shop or whatever.
Yes,
Okay.
the
Well,
different
sometimes abatements
zones.
for a while,
The
whatever.
abatements,
Yeah,
all
I
that.
understand what you mean.
What do we do
This
for
is-
farmers?
Okay, this would incentivize a little bit.
Exactly. This,
They have nothing like that now, is what you're going at. No,
think of joint economic development districts.
right, Jeds.
There's nothing like that in farming now.
Okay.
And this is an experiment, because it's a different animal, to figure out how we might be able to do this to make that transition work more smoothly. So in a 5-year program, it would sunset after 5 years, because we want to make sure it works or not. $10 million cap, and it's available not only to people who are not blood related, but also to members of the family.
Okay.
Because typically on a small farm, you're gonna want to sell to the next generation. And I had some concern about that first, didn't want any hint of impropriety, but with a cap and with a 5-year period as an experiment, it seemed worth doing. That bill, now a substitute bill, because we kind of gutted the original bill and replaced it with some of these variables, had its second hearing, or first hearing in agriculture. It's gonna have a second hearing next week, and it looks like that bill's gonna move, and we'll get it out of the House and then over to the Senate. I've already spoken with President Ophoff about it, and he's looking favorably upon this bill, especially if we can get it out of the House. But that definitely impacts folks around here. When you drive around Asheville County, we have a lot of small farms.
Yeah.
And this succession problem, I hear it all the time. How do we ensure that the next generation is gonna be able to take the reins?
Make it in farming as well.
Exactly, given the immense cost of it all.
Okay. Boy, that's, wow.
Mhm.
That affects all of us
All
in
of
many ways.
us. All
I
of
mean,
us.
absolutely.
There's going to be,
There's, what other alternatives? I mean, young people still, is there still some interest in farming? I
Oh,
hope
yeah,
you're
yeah.
Hearing, but it's like, I don't know if I can get past the money and the debt
that's
parts
the
of
issue,
this.
because they're already deep in debt for, a lot of them are, now keep in mind, go off to Ohio State University, major in ag or veterinarian science, and that's a whole different story. Our vets are under a lot of stress right now too. But to come out of college with debt and to know that you're looking at this potentially mountain of debt, I tell my colleagues who live in urban areas, don't think of farmers as mom and pops, the Grant Wood American Gothic pitchfork, all right? These are businessmen who have tremendous risk with the weather, let alone markets.
Yeah.
And you have to appreciate that kind of risk-taking on these folks that they engage in. And so one way to mitigate that is to create tax incentives for the young and for the maturing to make those connections so that we can preserve this great American heritage.
Well, the idea sounds very intriguing. So it's coming up for another second round, and then we're gonna
And I'll keep you
move out.
posted
That'd be great.
on that one. But that's dear to my heart too, because of the importance of agriculture.
I didn't realize that if you don't live in that life, you may not know all those facts and figures going on with maturing farmers ready to kind of move on.
Yeah.
But you want the farm to keep going.
That has to, for the rest of us.
I mean,
And
yeah.
keep in mind,
That's true.
farming isn't just work, it's a way of life. You ask a dairy farmer, you're milking cows every day. There ain't no vacation on a dairy farm.
That's what it is. You know what
It's
you're
what it
getting
is.
into, yeah.
And that creates a whole different kind of stress.
But it's the idea that could be a 5-year pilot for now to
Yep.
get this started. Wonder how long you think it'd take to know how well it's connecting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I didn't want to go too much longer than that, but it had to go long enough to have a good
To make it work,
baseline.
yeah.
So, and that may get, somebody may say, well, let's go 10 years, and I'm
Well,
good
keep
with
us
that.
up on that.
I will.
That's good.
It's something, it's a new idea, and you have to, and this is why you have to have hearings and vet different ideas to make a bill better for all of us.
No, you're right. We have time to probably
One more.
get education.
Yep.
Got a few minutes for
Got
that.
a few minutes.
What do you want to tell me?
All right. HB 305, we have now had 3 hearings on it. There's another hearing
The
coming
new
this
school
week.
funding
New school
bill.
funding.
Okay.
And it's taking place in the full finance, which is 30-some members. Basically, a third of the House sits
Okay.
on finance.
Yeah.
And the first couple of hearings have been totally on the base cost. What's it cost to educate a student without the add-ons? A student who is not an English language learner, who is not special needs, without the transportation, what's that cost? So we've been trying to educate our colleagues as to how expensive that is. Then, after this week, we're going to be transitioning into economically disadvantaged. We know that those kids who come from challenging economic backgrounds cost more to educate. And I'm talking not only in the urban areas, but there's a rural poor too. And one of the takeaways from the four DeRolf decisions was that there was inequity, if you will, in terms of education. That there has to be not only adequacy, what is an adequate education, but there has to be equity. And what does equity mean? Now, we've been discussing this, and it can't mean dollar for dollar. For example, you have some very wealthy districts, look at Orange.
Okay.
Equity does not necessarily mean that the state is going to contribute as much to Conneaut as what a student in Orange is going to get because of the local valuation. But equity does mean, for me, equal opportunity.
Okay.
That kids from Conneaut have the same opportunities as kids anywhere else. That's where I want to land. And let me give you an example. Cross-country coach. By the way, the state meet was Saturday. And I think of that fondly. 12 years I coached cross-country.
Yeah, and how things go?
Well, I there,
Okay.
and they ran well for themselves, but it's tough. It's a meat grinder down there. But what's that have to do with school funding?
Okay.
Every kid in a race goes off at the same time when the gun goes,
Okay.
right?
Right, okay.
The key is to make sure that they're training to prepare them for that moment is optimal enough to give them a fair chance in the race. For school funding, the supports that we as a state give to our students statewide should allow them to get to the starting line with the same chance, but then beyond that, it's up to them to succeed in this race we call life. And there are areas in Ohio that doesn't happen. And so part of what we're going to be looking at is how do we drive, in the next couple weeks, how do we drive more money to those economically disadvantaged areas to allow those kids to get to the starting line to run the race fairly with other kids. And then that leads into the next question. What is the fair, once we know how much it costs, what is the fair state share? And what is the fair local share? Now, another component of DeRolf is the fact that we were overly reliant on property taxes.
Right. I think everybody kind of talks about that part of it all the time.
All the time. And so that, and I had a debate, not a debate, a conversation with somebody the other day, said, well, make it all based on income instead of property.
Okay.
So those on a fixed income aren't surprised with property taxes increase because of school levies and such. There's a problem, there's always problems, there's a problem with that. And I wouldn't have been so sensitive had I not made not one but two trips to Lordstown. Superintendent there, Lordstown shutting down, losing hundreds of jobs, people who live in their district. If you were to make the local share based only on income, and those people disappear for whatever reason, now you've got another problem. So the idea in our school funding plan is to blend property, which is stable, which doesn't leave, which typically increases in value, with income. So it's mutually codependent, if you will, and as a result, it is a more stable and fair way.
Well, in my mind, I'm seeing, unless I'm way off, simple to me just hits me areas that are more wealthy, and there are. We just know that. We kind of know where these areas are.
Honey Valley
would get less help money than areas that don't have that kind, but it's
That's
not
correct.
just income only or property only.
It's a blend.
But that combo would have to do with where you're located is a lot to do with
To
it.
determine your local ability.
That
the
starting
local
point, like you
capacity,
said, make
right.
the starting point
Right.
even, but you're not just throwing money here or taking it away
Right.
there, it's,
Right.
what do you need to
So the
function?
question is,
How much does it
once
cost
we
to
know
educate the kid?
what's it cost, what's transportation, what's
Okay.
that, and then how much ought a local district be able to contribute to that?
Total monies to educate the child. Okay.
What is the local's fair share, and then the state would come in
I
and
see.
make up the
And
difference.
that will be varying compared to, it's not now.
Well, it is.
Let's face it,
It
well,
is,
but I mean, we all know areas
it's
that are not
skewed.
getting the same education. Let's just face
Yeah,
facts.
that's
We all
right.
know that.
That's right. And part of it,
So-
it's beyond, you just can't throw money at this.
Well, no.
Part of it is, the
We
economy
got
is.
two, just to let you know.
2 minutes, okay. I'll be quick. Part of our challenge in the rural areas is that there are not enough kids. Our districts are losing.
There's that too, I've heard.
And you can't justify expending more money for just
So
a
number of
handful kids.
students
Take like
plays
an
into
AP
this
course.
too
It
then.
does,
Okay,
it does.
yeah.
So we've got to think about, that's
Okay.
why this is so complex.
Yeah, it is.
But it's not just money, it's opportunity. And how do we fund opportunity in a way that's fair to the taxpayer, fair to the state, and fair to the child? And that's why this has taken so long, 7 years now for me, but keep in mind that we've been nearing 2 decades since the last DeRolf decision.
Yeah.
We have 66 co-sponsors on this bill. We're gonna try to get it done this GA, which means this
But it sounds
year
like
and
there's
the-
at least a serious,
Oh, it's
they're really
serious.
thinking about this moving forward.
That's why we're having the
You can't drag
hearings.
forever, because look, we're going backwards
I
in
know.
some places.
I know. And we can't, if we're gonna compete, and this is my vision, if we're gonna compete in a 21st century world, international
John,
economy.
I want my kids to have the best education
Exactly.
possible. I'm getting old. They're taking over this place in a
That's
short
right.
period of time. Let's give them the opportunities they need, but let's do it, like
That's
you say,
right.
equitably and a better way than it's been.
That's right.
And you're working toward that.
That's right.
Thank you, man. I know we're always out of time. It's so fast and so fascinating. Thanks for your work. Keep working on it. We'll bring you back another time.
I
You'll
think
come
so.
back.
Of course.
We're going to take our break for today, folks. We got to leave you, but we'll be back tomorrow for more Sunrise Live. Make it a great day, Conneaut. And we'll
Stay
see you
sharp.
tomorrow. Stay
Stay
sharp.
sharp, Conneaut.
Bye-bye for now.
Good evening. I'd like to call the Conneaut City Council meeting to order for October 28, 2019. And at this time, ask Ms. O'Connell to please call the roll.
City Manager, Mr. Hockaday.
Here.
Finance Director, Mr. Williams.
Here.
Law Director, Mr. Smith.
Here.
Council President, Mrs. Newcomb.
Present.
Mr. Emery.
Here.
Mr. Garrix.
Here.
Mr. Kozeski.
Here.
Mrs. McVoy.
Here.
Mr. Prokowski.
Present.
Mr. Shamford.
Present.
I'll ask y'all please stand and I comment before we do the Pledge of Allegiance. City Council would like to express its sincere condolences to Sergeant Thomas Cole Walker and the tragic accident that's occurred affecting his family and this community. We want to wish them well. We hope they get through this difficult time with the help of family and friends and everyone coming together. And at this time, we will pledge allegiance to the flag, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Our invocation this evening will be by Reverend Tim Krause.
Let's pray together. Dear God of heaven, we ask your blessings on our city, on city council, and all of our city leaders. We pray that this meeting would be productive and that there be ample discussion and responsible decisions made. We pray, Lord, that as we move forward as a city, that we can all pull in the same direction and that you will continue to bless us. And Father, we gather together with heavy hearts over the loss of one of our finest young men, Sergeant Thomas Cole Walker. Heavenly Father, I pray for his family and close friends. I especially ask your blessings on his wife, Taylor, that you would walk closely with her and help her through this time. Father, as we welcome him back home tomorrow, I pray that our city will come together in a showing of unity and compassion. And we are so grateful, Lord, for those who have served our country from this community and who are currently serving. We pray for your protection over them and that you would bring them home safely to us. These things we ask in the name of our Savior, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Reverend Krause. The next item on our agenda is the disposing of our meeting minutes for our meeting which was held on October 15th, 2019. Council received copies of that. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes as presented? Entertain a motion. Motion by Mr. Emery, seconded by Mr. Prokowski to approve the minutes. Ms. O'Connell?
Mr. Emery?
Yes.
Mr. Garrix?
Yes.
Mr. Kozeski?
Yes.
Mrs. McVoy?
Yes.
Mrs. Newcomb?
Yes.
Mr. Prokowski?
Yes.
Mr. Shamford?
Yes.
The meeting minutes stand approved. Next item on our agenda is our awards presentation. At this time, I would like Alex Kennedy and his family and his teachers here too, to please come forward for a presentation. Thank you. Congratulations. Ms. O'Connell has a presentation she'd like to read. You're on it.
Certificate of Achievement, Spartan of the Month. The Spartan of the Month for October is Alex Kennedy. Alex is a 10th grade student at Conneaut High School. His nominating teacher, Georgia Woods, wrote, Alex is a dedicated student who puts great effort into every assignment. He is attentive and pays attention to detail and strives to do his best. He is kind and considerate to his classmates and his teachers. He has a great attitude, works hard, always participates, and pays attention. I enjoy having him in my class. Alex exhibits those qualities that make him a representative of what it means to be a true Spartan. Signed, Deborah Newcomb, Council President, and Thomas Kozeski, Council Member.
Thank you. would like to say who's with you here tonight.
This is my father, Jim Kennedy, my mom, Jessica Kennedy, my sister, Addie, and my sister and principal, Miss Sanford. Right?
Right? At this time, we have something for you from City Council, and this is Tom Kozeski.
Congratulations in recognition of everything you've achieved as a long-term City Council.
Thank you.
You don't have to share it with Mom and Dad. Okay. Very proud of you and your parents, and appreciate you being here this evening. Another great example of Spartan spirit here in council chambers. So at this time, I'd like you to shake hands with all the council members so they can congratulate you. Congratulations. Congratulations. Thanks for being here. When I saw him, I'm like, a little mini Jamie. Congratulations. And thank you again. That's the more fun part of our agenda. Awarding students. Next item on our agenda is audience comments. Mr. Smith, did anyone sign in to comment?
Nope.
Okay, thank you. Move on to communications. Ms. O'Connell, do you have any communications be read in the record?
No, I do not.
Do any members of council have any communications? Move on to the reports of our administration and start with our city manager, Jim Hockaday.
Thank you, Madam President. Couple items I want to update you on. I've been receiving final departmental budgets. Hopefully we'll have a draft budget here for you in about the next week or two for a preliminary review. The other thing I want to touch base on here is the Land Bank Community Survey. We did our housing survey, approximately a little over 6,000 parcels within the city of Conneaut. We had a great core of volunteers from all over our community, including Land Bank staff, our public library, the Conneaut Foundation, others. We used some in-house housing and zoning staff to assist with it as well. We're hoping that by mid-December we will actually have a finished product that we'll be able to come